So, a couple of months ago or so, I decided that I wanted to do a series of famous funerals and basically tell about those. Now, I know that some of those funerals that I want to cover, there's not going to be a lot of pictures or a lot of video out there that I can use, but in this case, there's not a whole lot. There are some graphic pictures that I have found, but I just don't feel like it suits the flow of my channel to put graphic pictures on there of events like this. But I could have done that with the John F. Kennedy funeral video. Just not my style. There are other people who do that kind of stuff. That's their style. It's just not mine, but more so my channel. I like to tell stories, but I do like to give honor and respect to those that I covered. When I first started this series, there were two people that I knew for sure that I wanted to cover in this fashion and basically just tell about the day of the funeral. One was John F. Kennedy, and I was able to put that one out. I put that out probably a month or two ago if you want to find it. The other is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The circumstances and the tragedy surrounding his death were absolutely awful, and I wanted to be able to tell the story on my channel and pay my respects to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, a few things about his funeral. There was more than one, which I didn't know. It looks like, there was definitely more than one. I will get into all that, and we'll cover that in the video. But like I said, I wanted to pay my respects. There's not going to be a lot of photos and videos of the actual funeral that I can use, but I'm going to do my best to paint the picture, set the scene, and take us there to the funerals of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I remember the first time that I saw the footage of Robert Kennedy announcing to a group of campaign supporters that Martin Luther King Jr. had been assassinated. The thing that struck me and sent a ripple through my chest and a chill down my spine was the loud, audible gasps from those in attendance. Those loud, audible gasps echoed across a nation of believers whose beloved civil rights icon had fallen. This video is to take you through the aftermath and the funeral of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King was taken to St. Joseph's Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee immediately following the assassination. Aides of Dr. King would contact Robert Lewis Jr., a local funeral director who had just met King, to pick up his body and prepare it for viewing. Robert Kennedy had arranged a plane to take King's widow, Coretta Scott King, to Memphis. King's body would lie in state at R.S. Lewis and Sons Funeral Home in an open bronze casket. It was said that the many people who filed past his casket openly wept. Some gently touched his face. Some kissed him. Ralph Abernathy would say a prayer, and this would be considered the first funeral of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. National Guardsmen and police would escort a long procession of cars to the airport for the flight of his body back to Atlanta. Upon the arrival in Atlanta, the casket was taken to Ebenezer Baptist Church. A private service was held beginning at 10:30 a.m. The church was filled with 1,300 people, which would include entertainment and sports figures, labor leaders, foreign dignitaries. Reverend Ralph Abernathy would deliver the sermon, calling the assassination one of the darkest hours of mankind. In a selfless request by his widow Coretta, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. eulogized himself. That's right, he provided his own eulogy. His last sermon, given at Ebenezer Baptist Church, had been recorded, which was given on February 4th, 1968. In that selfless sermon, Dr. King requested that no mention be made of any honors or awards that he had received in his life at his funeral. He did mention in that sermon, however, that he tried to love and serve humanity. And now it was time for the 3.5-mile procession to Morehouse College, where his third and final funeral would take place. A simple wooden farm wagon, pulled by 2 mules, would take him to the location. The procession would be observed by more than 100,000 people along the 3.5-mile route. It was said that the procession was mostly silent, with silence only broken by the singing of freedom songs, some of the same songs frequently sung during King's marches. The route of the procession would take the body past the Georgia State Capitol. King would be eulogized by the president of Morehouse College. The service, which was a ticketed public event, was a public service. "Take my hand, precious Lord," his favorite hymn, was sang by his friend Mahalia Jackson. After the service, Dr. King's casket would be loaded into a hearse, and his body would be taken to Southview Cemetery. It is to be noted that in 1970, King's body was exhumed and moved to its current location, which is between Ebenezer Baptist and the King Center. His beloved wife, Coretta, was buried next to him in 2006. I know that there's nothing that I can tell you, nothing that I can say that could ever come close to capturing the aftermath of this tragedy, but this video is done with honor and done with respect. Thanks for joining me. Another video of mine will be on the screen soon. It is my hopes that you will watch it. Please subscribe for more videos like this and cemetery-related videos. I will see you again soon.